I got a story for you, y'all. So, a family of Buffalo winter storm victim Anndel Taylor blasts the blizzard response up in Buffalo, New York. Now, 22-year-old Anndel Taylor shared a series of harrowing videos with her sisters as she waited for rescue from the relentless storm. Now, it's important to know that the stepmother of a Buffalo nurse, which is Anndel Taylor, who perished in the historic winter storm in Buffalo, New York, this weekend, said Tuesday that the woman still would be alive if officials were better prepared. The question I ask myself is, why come Buffalo, New York don't have the necessary vehicles to be able to save people? I believe they do. There's nowhere in the world Buffalo, New York is known to have these blizzards and bad snowstorms. And I know for sure, for a fact, if it was someone of importance, they would have been able to have a high priority to save the individual. And it's sad that someone have to perish in a snowstorm like this. Another thing, y'all, check this out. How come she had to go to work and knowing that the weather was bad like this? There's no way. For me, for an example, for me, if it was me, there's no way in the world I would have went to work. If you're going to fire me, fire me. I still get to live to see another day. I still get to have the opportunity to look for another job if I need to. But there's no way that I'm going to allow a company to force me to go to work. For what? In this bad weather? You can only imagine if she would have stayed home, she possibly would have been still living today. Now, Lanisha Smith, which is the stepmother of Anndel Taylor, the 22-year-old who died in the snowstorm, told the Post that the 22-year-old Anndel Taylor, one of more than 30 people who have died in this actual snowstorm, was just minutes away from home when she became stuck in the snow and should have been saved. They said they were prepared for the storm, but they were not prepared for the storm, the stepmother said. So many lives probably could have been saved if they put the travel ban in the night before. That's what I'm talking about. Why? The Charlotte, North Carolina native was found in the car without a pulse on Saturday, and family members had to retrieve her body themselves on Sunday night after responders failed to reach her. Smith said that after Taylor had called them and told them she was stuck on Friday afternoon, she and her son tried to dig out their vehicles to go and get her. This is her. We just cannot dig it out, the stepmother said. It was like as soon as we dig one spot out, the next spot just covered. Meanwhile, Smith said Taylor called 911 multiple times. They just kept telling her they would try to get to her and they would try to get to her. Taylor's family member was calling anybody and everybody they could to try to get to her, but nobody was available to help. Family members believe she died of carbon monoxide poisoning after snow piled above her exhaust pipe. Taylor was scheduled to work at 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Friday at Absolute Care of Aurora Park in neighboring East Aurora, where she was training to be a nurse. She was found unconscious in her car in Buffalo on this past Saturday, dead. She left work 20 minutes before her shift ended to try and beat the storm. My question is, why in the world she's trying to go to work in the storm, knowing that it was going to be a bad storm? Why did they force her to go to work or go to a training? So because she said she was training to be a nurse. I bet you the company ain't going to say nothing about that. And I guarantee they're going to go ahead with their life like it's business as usual. Let me tell y'all something, man. Let me tell y'all something, fam. Don't allow these companies to pressure you to come to work in these type of conditions. I understand that you need the money to pay your bills. I understand that. But at the same token, you don't get another body. You don't get to come back to this life. Once you're dead, you're dead. They said that she left work 20 minutes before her shift ended to try and beat the storm, but it had already dumped considerable amounts of snow on the roads. A driving ban had been issued shortly before 9 a.m., just 41 minutes before the snow began rapidly falling into the region and in the middle of Taylor's shift at the hospital. The New York governor, Kathy Hochul, announced on Thursday that a state of emergency would take effect for the entire state beginning at 6 a.m. Friday in preparation for the storm that wallowed the Northeast over the holiday weekend. As western New York begins to thaw, local and state officials have been taking heat for the handling of the deadly storm. From issuing the travel ban way too late, which left many motorists like Taylor stranded, to failing to call the National Guard until Saturday. Come on, guys. We were calling, her mother was calling, her sisters, I'm sure we're calling, my son was calling. They had multiple calls from everyone who knew, calling the police and 911, she said. They had a number up for the National Guard. That number wasn't working. We were calling all the fire stations in the area, everything in the area where she was, so maybe somebody will go out and try to help her. Nothing, did the family said. Nothing. Anndel Taylor, when in the midst that she was fighting for her life, she said that she was okay. She still had a half a tank of gas, so she was going to run in the car for a little while and then turn it off and then on again, Smith said. Taylor said she was going to take a nap but never called back in the morning and wasn't answering her phone when she took a nap. And if it's so, it's that when the snow had piled up over the mufflers, the carbon monoxide was coming inside the car. The question you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Was it worth it? Anndel Taylor could possibly be still living today if she would have stayed at home and made the conscious decision that her life is more important than going to this training to become a nurse. She can always train to become a nurse another day. It is not worth her life. She's gone. And about 30 other people. Buffalo, New York, what are we doing? One person's death is out of control. What are we doing? Why are these jobs, why are these companies are forcing people to come to work in these type of conditions? There needs to be better measures in place. Rest in peace, Anndel Taylor.